look, I think we had a good week of practice again this week. We're going, over to Houston and facing a good football team. I think this is a highly competitive team. I think they play really hard. I think they play a physical brand of football, in all three phases. I think they're well coached, and I know we got our work cut out for us going into their place and playing them. But we're looking forward to the opportunity.
Dennis, what kind of challenges is their offensive scheme present? Assuming they do a lot of this stuff in San Francisco.
Yeah. Look, I think they do a good job. They're kind of primarily a kind of a wide zone team, and yet they have plenty of gap scheme runs too. It makes it challenging. They have some pre-snap shifts and motions. They line up in some unique formations, which can be challenging a little bit. At times they'll put a receiver back there in the backfield and run them on routes out of the backfield, hand them the ball out of the backfield. So there's a lot of different stuff that we got to prepare for.
How do you go about managing the disguise looks?
In terms of
what you were just talking about, their offense.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's really, it's really about making sure that number one, I do a good job of getting a call in to the players. Number two, we get it communicated, and then we get our eyes on their huddle and see them coming out and be able to get lined up and execute. And that's kind of in the simplest form what we have to do.
On the other end of that, getting Marcus back, does that allow you to be a little bit more creative with some of your coverages, just in terms of having those Tyron and Marcus been working together so long?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, we don't put a lot of new things in every single week. I mean, we have a core set of beliefs and things that we believe in that have been good for us. We make a few adjustments here and there, and I don't think we've been limited in terms of what we can do defensively, and yet we're excited about having him back out there.
Yeah, how have you seen Brian Brzee come along just since the start of the season?
Look, I think he's done a good job for us. I think there's still, a lot of things that we can work on. I think I said it was last week or 2 weeks ago, there's still some pad level things that we got to do from a fundamental standpoint. I think he can still improve in the run game. He certainly gives us a pass rushing presence inside.
For a guy who's 6'5", you wouldn't see necessarily like a lot of guys his height playing that thing in the interior. Is pad level just kind of going to be more
It'll get better
than other people?
It'll get better.
What has worked the best in your run defense this year? So I know you guys put a lot of emphasis on improving that after last season.
Yeah, look,
working well?
I think a couple things. Number one is we played with a few leads, which makes it more challenging for teams to want to stick to the run game. And yet I think we've done a better job of kind of attacking blocks and doing a better job of getting off of blocks. And I think we've been a much better tackling team this year, and so I think that has a lot to do with it. But yeah, certainly it was an emphasis. Our players understand that the best defenses usually do a pretty good job of stopping the run, and forcing them into more passing situations. And I think that's why you've seen the takeaway total be a little bit higher, because we've gotten them in those type of situations a little bit more.
What do you attribute the better tackling to?
Yeah, it's really kind of hard to say. I think probably some of it has to do with not having as much space in the defense. Obviously it's harder to make tackles in space than it is in a confined area. So, minimizing, the amount of times you're having to do that out in space. And yet I think this week space tackling is going to be a big part of what we have to do. I mean, I think that's part of what this, offense challenges you to do, is they try to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand quickly and hit guys on the move and get a lot of run after catch. So that'll be a big part of this game.
One of those guys is Nico Collins. Can you just talk about what you've seen from him?
Yeah, big physical receiver that does a good job with the ball in his hands. He's runs a lot of kind of short to intermediate routes, a lot of things catching the ball over the middle in contested environments, and yet does a good job of once he gets the ball in his hands of making people miss, and he runs violent when he has the ball in his hands. So I've been impressed with what I've seen out of him.
And so we didn't see Andres out there today. Something happened yesterday today?
Yeah, kind of strained his groin a little bit. We kept him out of practice today. See where he's at tomorrow, but
Not like you did have the biggest rushing totals, but C.J. Stroud and Damian Pierce, how you approach that possible run threat combo they present?
yeah, look, we'll see what they're trying to do in the game, and they haven't really run the quarterback that much, and yet he has the ability to do that. So if that'll be part of their plan, we'll have to adjust. But I think they've got, I think their runners run hard. I think their runners run violent, and so getting 11 hats on the ball will be big.
It seemed like last week in particular there was a lot of success with the NASCAR package. You're getting in those situations and you're getting home with Tano and Brian in particular. What have you seen from that pairing in particular so far?
Yeah, look, I thought Tano did a nice job for us this past week rushing inside. He's kind of a slippery rusher in there. He's got some length, and so having that type of length in the quarterback's face, I think, can be an advantage for us.
Does that take kind of a unique type of rusher to be able to shift inside and have success like that?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think we've had some success with guys in the past that have had some inside-outside flex, different position players, guys that can play safety, corner, nickel, a lot of different places, and so I think you just got to pick and choose when those opportunities are for us to move him inside. All right, guys, thanks.
Thanks, Dave.